Yala is waiting in the gate terminal for her flight, leaving for one of the USA's southern beaches. As she waits for the announcement signifying the plane, Delta Airlines, is ready to board, she hears a nasty-sounding cough. Instinctively, she looks around to find the culprit and sees and smells a guy shambling towards the cough. The smell is so horrid that Yala decides to remove herself from the area. Once the smell begins to dissipate, Yala hears a scream coming from the direction she was leaving. She turns to catch a glimpse of the commotion at hand, witnessing the smelly man beating on the airport receptionist. As this is happening, she observes a little girl standing nearby. Yala returns to get the girl and direct her to a safe area. But, she snatches herself out of Yala's grasp and runs towards the fast food chain across the way. With all of the uproar happening, the workers are not paying attention to the two of them as they enter the area and go behind the counters. Yala notices that the girl is eyeing the food sitting readily to eat. So she grabs a burger and gives it to her. She turns to watch the havoc going on across the way. By this time the smelly man was now attacking a security guard. The airport receptionist was nowhere Yala could see, and a bystander was pulling the attacker off of the security guard. In the blink of an eye, he had the attacker subdued and another bystander came and stomped on the attacker. Yala could see no other movement from the attacker. "We should close these doors." Yala directs one of the restaurant workers. She replies, "What are you doing here?" "I'm going to call security." Then, she begins to call out to one of the security workers responding to the chaos across the way. Yala grabs the little girl's hand, this time successful to guide her near the entrance to the airplane. As they are leaving the restaurant, she sees a group of blood-stained, sickly-looking folks coming her way, and the smell from that group was stronger. She hastens her pace. As the pungent group gets closer, they begin to attack nearby people. The flight attendant was one of the people getting attacked, while a medical worker was being attacked nearby. Two passengers, one a military man and the other, the passenger who started the commotion by slamming someone, were trying to protect the medical worker from their attacker. Not too far from that, two security guards were being attacked. From left to right, Yala was seeing random people getting attacked or pinned and punched, scratched or bitten by petrified, sickly-looking people. Yala takes this opportunity to usher the little girl and herself safely through the entrance of the gate doorway. They went down that hallway, the screams and growls got softer and softer. But, soon another body came jogging towards them. "Let's get that door open," he commanded. "There are a few other people by the gate, hopefully helping those in need." Yala gathered the commotion in the terminals is getting worse, and she was glad she made the decision to get away from it. With a little bit of strength, all three of them were able to get the doors opened. "The door's open, let's board now," Yala yells out to the people at the gate. She only knew they were there because the military man said so, and she could only hope they weren't sickly or violent. "Only 6 of us made it on the plane." Just as the outside plane door closes, the pilot comes out of the cockpit, demanding we leave the plane. "We are not leaving." One of the men steps up to the pilot. Yala was thinking the same thing. She had no plans to go back into the madness outside the plane doors. The pilot and the guy began arguing. Yala looks to the flight attendant. "Ma'am, can you say something please?" The pilot should understand if the flight attendant backs us up. Yala notices her name tag says Tiara. She tries to reason with the pilot to no avail. Yala tries to appeal to the pilot, assuming he will understand the situation going on right now. He does not, and the arguing continues. Eventually Tiara gets the pilot to concede, but only by taking him to talk inside the cockpit. "I need my bags," stated the man with the staff. Yala saw him fend off an attacker with it earlier. The military man found the airplane snacks and began eating and packing up snacks. And the fighter has his ears to the cockpit door, trying to listen in on the conversation. Yala decides to help Dondatalo, who she is now calling the man with the staff, look for his baggage. "I found a door that could lead to the luggage area, but it's locked." Yala calls out. The little girl hears and speaks out with excitement, "I know how to pick locks." Yala can see her and Dondatalo coming in her direction. With the click here and tick there, the doors were unlocked and opened. Peering through the opened hatch, Yala could see it's a tight fit. Donatello goes through first. He must have something important in his luggage. The little girl follows him down. Yala goes to the snack area to see if there is any water and snacks left. There were, so she packed a few bottles of water with peanuts, cookies and saltines into her bag. As much as she could easily fit. The cockpit door opens and Tiara and the pilot steps out. Yala could see the annoyance on her face as she hurries towards them. The pilot is scratched up and pinkish on one of his cheeks, but walking fine. "So," I asked. "He said you guys can stay, but he ain't moving this plane," Tiara said with irritation. The pilot begins rambling on about why he isn't going to move the plane, to the point of grabbing the attention of the fighter. They exchange some heated words. The pilot is getting tense and the fighter is flexing, getting ready to do what he must love to do. We asked him if he would move the plane to a safe distance from the terminal. He is not having that. Then, out of nowhere, from Yala's perspective, the fight throws a right hook, knocking the pilot right out, cold. The military man points to the unconscious pilot. "Really? The only person who knows how to fly a plane?" "Yay, he was getting on my nerves," the fighter replies. "Tiara, can you find a flight manual? Maybe there are instructions on how to fly or move this thing," Yala asks. "I'm on it," Yala replies as she heads to the cockpit. Donatello heads back to the luggage hatch to look for supplies. The military man and Marg, the little girl, follow behind him. Yala gets Marg's attention to direct her to the snack station. "Hey, why don't you grab some drinks and snacks to put in your backpack?" She watches as the little girl rushes over to the snack area, grabs a handful from the tin, then shoves them into her bag. Next, she puts 2 juice boxes in with the sacks, then runs off to join the search in the luggage area. Yala sits in the seat closest to the cockpit awaiting the results of the search for how to fly a plane. The fighter joins Tiara in the search for a flight manual. "I found something." Tiara steps from the cockpit with a book that says, "How to Fly Planes for Dummies." "Great, I bet on a normal day, it would have been a fight of turbulence with this pilot." Yala thinks, "I can work with that." Yala takes the book and settles herself into the pilot seat, opening the book. Tiara takes the co-pilot position and the fighter hunkers down just outside the cockpit doors. Yala reads the chapters explaining the controls and maneuvering of the aircraft, looking at the diagrams within to help explain the verbiage. In about 15 or 20 minutes, Yala was ready to move the plane. "Please take your seats, we are about to be on the move," Tiara announced over the intercom. As soon as the plane's engines begin to rumble and hum signifying it's ready to go, Yala puts the plane in reverse and begins to guide the plane towards the runway. Getting the plane lined up with the runway, Yala sees in the distance the highway she used to arrive at the airport, lined bumper to bumper with cars. A few cars driving through, she can only assume using the side spaces to get around all the stopped vehicles. Yala also sees people shambling about the outside of the airport. There off in the distance she can see a car, an SUV. Big enough to fit everyone on the plane. "Do you see that SUV?" Yala asks Tiara as she directs the plane towards the SUV. "Yes," Tiara replies, then gets back on the intercom to inform them of the unspoken plans. "Gather your things and meet us by the back emergency doors. We've found a ride out of this airport." Yala guides the plan as close as she could to the SUV before pulling the brakes to park the plan. She and Tiara gather their things to leave the cockpit. They watch as the military man wakes the pilot and let him know what we were doing. With everyone standing by the emergency door, unaware of the status of the SUV. Yala can see Marg has additional luggage she's carrying, possibly found in the luggage area of the plane. Donatello was passing out weapons. The military man had emptied out the lavender luggage and was packing snacks inside. He hands a handgun to Yala, the military man and the fighter. The fighter quickly asks for the extra bow staff. Once everyone had their supplies and felt ready, the emergency door was opened and the slide inflated. But no one moved to exit. "Who's out first?" the fighter asked. "Why don't we let the pilot go first?" Yala suggests. "No, we can't trust him," the fighter says, rejecting Yala's suggestion. "It's the safest option for us." Yala tries to give him the let him be the guinea pig emote. But the pilot saw it all. I'm not comfortable with that option. He interjects and steps away from the door, as if to prevent someone from pushing him out. I'll go, then, Don Daedalo says as he steps up to the door. What if the doors are locked? You'll need to know how to unlock that door and fast. Yala points to the sickly-looking people standing about. Marg squeaks out in excitement, I can do it. Let me go, too. If she goes, then I will have to go, as well. The fighter joins in. Okay, it's settled. Don Daedalo, Marg, and the fighter are going to make sure the doors are unlocked and keys are in the car. If it's good they will signal for the rest of us to follow. Cesar. What? Yala was unsure what the fighter was saying. My name is Cesar. He halfway whispered before jumping down the slide heading towards the SUV. Marg and Don Daedalo followed him. Once they arrive at the car the doors seem to open with no problem. A few minutes later, the engine revved and the car began moving. The noise caught the attention of the sick people and they began moving towards it. The SUV drives towards the plane, and Tiara jumps down the slide. Followed by the military man. Yala goes down, lands on her feet and starts to run towards the SUV. She looks back and the pilot disconnects the slide and closes the emergency doors. Yala looks forward just as one of Tiara's heel breaks and she goes down. Yala hops over her, pulls the car door open and jumps into the rear of the SUV. The military man turns to help Tiara and they make it into the SUV, closing the door just as a horde of those sick bodies slam against it. Go. The three of them yell in unison and Don Daedalo speeds off leaving everything behind. Yala looks out the back window as the car creates more distance between them and the sick. She put her seat belt on and can see the plane lifting off into the skies going who knows where. It's good the pilot didn't come with us. Yala thinks to herself, he and Cesar would have been fighting the whole drive. And that would have been a very nerve-wracking drive. Off into the unknown for this crew of 6. Will they survive this pandemic? Or will they become engulfed in the madness of the new world?